Howdy, Ags. Welcome to Aggie Growth Hacks, the podcast sponsored by the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M. And we are dedicated to helping entrepreneurs improve their business, connect with other Aggie entrepreneurs, and support one another. I'm your host, Greg Martin, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2001.
And I'm your co-host, Chris Hunter, fighting Texas Aggie class of 1998.
Well, we got a little story for you, Ags. Marche Warfield, fighting Texas Aggie class in 1994, is the CEO of Satori Marketing, a full-service marketing company based out of Houston, Texas, that landed in the number 9 spot on this year's Aggie 100, with a 3-year growth rate of over 111%. As you're going to hear, Marche is a pistol, and we knew from the second that we met her that this was going to be a special conversation.
So pass it back and listen up as Marche shares some really good bull.
This is going to be fabulous.
Marche, thank you so much for joining us at Aggie Growth Hacks. This has already been one of the most amazing episodes ever, and we just started. But first off, we are here, Aggie 100 Day, one of our favorite days to celebrate entrepreneurs and Aggie entrepreneurs. So congratulations on an Aggie 100 win. Thank you for joining us. And we are so excited to celebrate and party with you tonight.
Yeah, we are very excited. This is our second. I've been in a little bit of a drought. We had one in 2019. We won one in 2019. And so now we're back, and now I'm laser focused. This is not going to be the second and the last. It's just going to be the second.
It's going to be the second, right. the first of back-to-backs.
Right. You know, the team does such a great job on all things, design, copywriting, all those things. They do so great. And those awards, the other ones that we win, there's over 100 of them. Those are theirs, right? And those are for them, and those are for the clients. But Aggie 100?
That's my baby.
Yeah, exactly. When you see our trophies in the office, the Aggie 100 is right in the middle. So, yes.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your business. Tell us about your entrepreneur journey. Where are you? What do you do? Who do you serve?
Okay. So Satori started February 1st of 2007. Marketing, communications, a little bit of PR, both digital and traditional. I did not intend for any of this to happen. I absolutely backed into this. I was interviewing for a director of marketing position with a commercial industrial real estate firm and made it to the final round. And when he hired me, he said, if this works out, we're going to form a marketing company. And I was like, sure, Don, whatever you say. And
I still get paid, right?
Yeah. His name is Don Eastfeld, quite a visionary. And so it did work out. And so 7 months later to the day, we formed Satori. And this is 2007, right? And real estate was flying off the shelves and things were amazing. And he was the best partner you could ever ask for because he was completely silent, had no idea what I did. So he just stayed out of my way and he brought me clients. It was amazing. And then the recession hit. And then it wasn't amazing. I didn't diversify enough. He was
all real estate.
All real estate. Real estate, architects, civil engineers, general contractors, no diversification whatsoever.
All vertical.
All vertical. And all stopped working on the same day, right? And so the recession was terrible. I eventually bought him out for not much out of the company. I limped along as long as I could. And then eventually, even though Satori sat over there a little bit, I took a job at another agency. And there were a couple of very massive lessons I learned during the recession in working that agency. First of all, I'm a terrible employee and I should never do that again. And secondly, she thrived during that. And she had a lot of government contracts and public contracts. And she thrived during the recession. So I took those lessons and quietly started getting Satori all the government certifications that I could. Started learning how to find and land government contracts. And then once the recession backed off a little bit, my real estate clients came back, which was awesome. And I was able to spring back in and pull Satori in and learn what I learned and diversify. And, with government contracts, you're confused and you think that once you're certified, you're good.
It's the government. They're going to pay.
Yeah, and the contracts are just going to float to you. Yeah. They don't.
And they're so messed up. Do you know how bad they need PR?
Oh, gosh. Yes, they do. And they don't think so. So I started chasing, and I will never forget the first government contract I got was the smallest little thing. It was business cards and letterhead for the Texas Military Department in Austin. And it was like $1,500, and I did not care. It was the sweetest.
It was awesome, right?
Yeah, it was the sweetest $1,500 because I could finally say Satori was in working for the government, right, and with the government. So from there, I've just been plugging along, and it's been amazing. It's really, of course, the pandemic threw a wrench like it did for everybody, but it's been amazing. I cannot complain. This being an Aggie 100 and the trajectory that we're on is incredible. Our clients now, it's wide variety. I am diversified, but we have a great company called Gajeski Polyethylene Pipe. We've got nonprofits, both family adoption and foster care out of Kerrville, Aggies, and then also a nonprofit that's medical outreach out in North Carolina, and then it goes all the way to TxDOT Austin, TxDOT Houston. We just landed a contract with Cap Metro in Austin. So it's really been great. I mean, it's really been great. And again, this is only my second total and last. So it's been cool.
That's awesome.
And my team is everything. So because be honest with you, I'm not a copywriter. I can't draw a stick man. They're the ones that are doing all this. I'm very fortunate how fabulous of a team we have.
So what type of services do you concentrate on? Do y'all have a specialty or?
No, because we're full service.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sort of ebbs and flows, right? And so with government, you can imagine they still are in the traditional space. They still want printed pieces. They still want printed collateral. They still want billboards sometimes. They still want those kinds of things, but digital also, right? And then there's different clients that are heavy into digital. A lot of private are heavy into digital because of how far you can get with your dollar goes much further for that. So it really just depends. It'll seem like because we do websites, social media, traditional, all of that, it sort of seems like it goes like this. It seems like we're doing 3, 4, 5 websites all at once. And then there's a lull. And now we're focusing on something else. And now we're doing billboards and PR and all those things. So it really just depends on the clients. So, and the campaigns that we're doing.
So how do you build a team that has got that depth and breadth? Because I'm not, out of the two of us, I'm not the marketing brains here. I get it. But what I do know about it, it is so easy, it's so specialized. And you have to have subject matter experts in every little pit because SEO is different than print, is different than website, is different than digital. How do you pull all of those resources and skill sets together?
That's a pretty great question. It really depends on, for example, we have freelancers and we try to stay in our lane. Like SEO is not our lane, but we have great partners for that, and we're very open to clients about that. And government doesn't ever care about SEO.
No.
And so that's not a problem because me using a subcontractor would cause troubles with my certifications, right? But also I keep a pool of freelancers over here, right? And so that's helpful too, so that if there is a very specialized contractor campaign that comes around that I need someone for, I can pull them into the mix without bringing them on completely, right? I can 1099 them or I can W-2 them short term, right? And so that way and they know going in, I'm always completely transparent because I always understand people have bills to pay and baby birds to feed and all that sort of thing. And so I try to be real transparent with them saying, I need you for this. This may turn into something bigger, which you'll always have right of refusal for coming in on the front end. But this is really all I have right now. Let's just see what we can do and see if we can build it into something bigger. So that's really what we do. After the recession, I will tell you, maybe I'm a little bit too conservative when it comes to me balancing W-2s and 1099s, right? But I don't enjoy laying people off. I think it's a terrible thing to do. And in our industry, it's pretty prominent. You get a big contract, you hire a lot of people, you lose a contract, you lay them off. Then you get another contract. I don't think that that's a good business model. Those are still human beings with families and kids and mortgages and all that sort of thing. So sometimes at the expense of my bottom line a little bit, I may hang in the freelance circle a little bit longer than maybe I should. But that is because I got the whole person in my head.
But the value and the culture that you're bringing for that.
Right. And I think the team knows that if I'm bringing you on, I'm bringing you on. And I am in no way, shape, or form thinking that we're going to have a different conversation in 4 or 6 months. So That's how I do. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Do people know what they're doing? I mean,
some lie really good.
like I was thinking about it on the way here, and I was like, this is about 17 and a half years. And that makes my brain explode because first of all, everybody's gonna be able to figure out how old I am. And secondly, how can it be 17 plus years? I just don't know how that's possible, but it's been fantastic. And I'm super fortunate in the fact that I absolutely love what I do, right? It's great to be able to hop out of bed and jump out of bed and go, no, I got to go to work, you know? In fact, it can be to my detriment, right? As far as how much I work, but I love what I do. So it makes it, I mean, when it's not really work, but it is, that's such a sweet spot to be in, right? So now my job is to make sure it's that way for the team.
So as being an Aggie, right, as being part of the Aggie family, what did you learn at A&M that you've been able to translate into your business, and how does that really shaped how your business is?
You know, this big old family that we're in, you know, some people choose to call us a cult and whatever. I'll take any word. It's pretty fantastic, right? And I'm very fortunate. I wonder if I would even get into A&M now because
I probably would.
I mean, it is out of control now. But it's so great to be a part of something as big as this, right? And even when I'm sitting across somebody, a client, a meeting, a proposed client, I'm doing a pitch, and I find out they're from TU. That banter is fantastic, even then. You know what I mean? And I don't know I'm sure other schools have it, but I just don't know that it's like this, right? And so when it comes to, remember I said, I'm not a copywriter. I'm an account service person to the core. That is who I am. I'm account service. And so my whole thing is that if we're not a family and we're not a team, and to be clear, that I think those words are thrown around a little too much. I think they're lip service a lot of times. But if we're not that, I don't know how we're going to be able to do it. I mean, we are still fairly small. You said, how do you do that? We're all wearing a lot of hats even still, right? And they do incredible work, you know, and they got awards on the wall to prove it. And it's just one of those deals that I think came from A&M because we still say howdy. We still wrap our arms around people. We still sing. Like I was in an airport in Belize not too long ago, and I got like a drive-by gig 'em. I never saw the human behind me. I'm sitting, I was having a beer. I'm having a beer and we're just waiting for our flight, right? And we were down there for a video shoot. And all I hear is gig 'em, and the person just kept walking. And I was like, who else does that? Just us, right? And he just disappeared. I never saw him. And so those things I think are pretty great. And I'd like to believe that some of that has trickled into Satori. I sure try. So
you're obviously a fast growing company. You're on Aggie 100 because you're a fast growing company. Knowing that you have a very strong belief in family and treating your employees, team like family, knowing that you have to grow and you want to grow and you are growing fast. What's the most challenging part about growing fast and keeping that family dynamic?
It keeps me awake at night, right? Because it's much easier the smaller you are, right? I will tell you that I've let people go over culture issues. I will let people go over culture issues because it will fester and it's very hard to undo. It's very difficult for me imagining that something like that all of a sudden would be turned on its head because now we've doubled in size or tripled in size. But I will tell you, we talk a lot about it. We do a lot of things together. We have now formed, we're going to rename it because we're in marketing and culture crew is not good enough for me. But we've now formed a culture crew to sort of keep those things going. So when I first graduated A&M, I was a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines. And so you talk about culture, right? That was ingrained with me, and Herb Kelleher was an absolute stud when it comes to company culture. So if there's anything that I hope does trickle into Satori, it's both A&M and Southwest Airlines back when Herb was doing his thing. And he believed in culture crews and all of those things. And you spend time together outside. And now we're doing quarterly events, whether we're trying to do give backs every 6 months, where go pack food at at a food bank or do something. And then also at least once a quarter, we all get together and do something that's leave your computers, leave whatever, let's just hang out. And so I'm trying, but it is something that concerns me. But as far as I'm concerned, we have to be purposeful about it, right? We can't assume that those are coming in later and as we get bigger are going to be drinking that Kool-Aid. We're going to have to be sure and kind of feed them that Kool-Aid, which sounds kind of creepy, but so I'm trying.
All right, couple follow-up questions there. One, where are you guys located at?
Houston. Sorry about that. Yes,
Yeah.
Houston.
And number two, are you in person? We were just talking about this, right? In person or virtual or a combination?
Combination.
Okay.
But heading into the in-person pretty hardcore. It's hard to brainstorm creative ideas on a Zoom, right? And we still have, so some of our positions are still virtual, and I'm fine with that. Our digital manager that handles a lot of our paid social media, he's fine, right? We're not brainstorming a lot with him. A lot of times we're brainstorming a campaign as far as how to spend and how to pivot, but that's fine. I have no issue with that. Our project manager, Aggie, is here. Cassie is here. She's great because she can manage projects with no problem over here. But when it comes to us and brainstorms and the creative team and all of that, we just do better when we're together. To the point where, so our office is very different than most, especially ad agencies. We are in an office warehouse off the Beltway on purpose. I remember I come from industrial real estate, right? So he made me fall in love with that whole office warehouse, have a big roll up door in the back. You can grill out the back door on days like this, right? And so our office purposefully is like, I had them take walls down. And so it's just wide open and we are all together. There is one conference room that actually has a ceiling and a door and walls. But other than that, it's wide open. The conference room is wide open. And so it's one of those things those are the kind of things I think where greatness happens. You know, hey, Jimmy, hey, Amy, and not closed doors and intercoms and all that sort of thing. So it's been pretty great.
So that's a really unique perspective, more than either one of us had, because I mean, we were literally talking about this 15 minutes before we were rolling, is that a lot of companies are now, there's the Amazon, Chase has been back to work for a long time. And I think that there's a lot of value in that for exactly what you said. Not only you're a bunch of creatives, and for creatives to feed on each other, it gets really beautiful really quick. But the flip side of that is that our society, our employees now value their time at home more. And not, God bless you for being in Houston. Every time I drive to Houston, I was like, we were in Dallas this week, and I was like, God, I don't know how you handle the traffic. Houston's worse. Maybe you
learn just like hurricanes and derechos and all. You just figure it out.
I don't want to learn that, but that's a significant ask when you're saying, okay, you're back to work. Well, now you're asking them on a good day, you're asking them to invest 2 hours in the car. An hour there, not an hour home. And that's tough, but it's finding the right people. Right.
And we're super transparent about it. You know what I mean? And even so we will, you can't really ask if there's HR issues about what you can ask in an interview and what you can or whatever, but parts of town, right? And we will absolutely ask that because it's a concern. But in my mind, you chose to live in are we third yet? Our third or fourth largest city in the country.
Yeah.
And so I did choose an artery to be on to where you can quickly get on 10. You could hang 290. You can go around the loop. You can pick another loop. We've got lots of loops. You can do all those things, but ultimately, and this has been a problem for a while, ultimately, I can't keep apologizing because we chose to live in this big old city, right? Some of us actually go against traffic, Some of us, like I live in the Heights, Jimmy lives in the Heights, some others live in the Heights. And so you're actually going against traffic. So I'm all the way inside the loop, and I can still be at the office in like 13, 14 minutes. Oh, wow. So it really just depends, but it is always a conversation during our interview process because it is going to be a problem if they are coming from the Woodlands or wherever, Clear Lake or anything like that. It's just one of those deals where, what do you want to do? Now, do we work from home sometimes? Absolutely. Do we, I don't play derechos and hurricanes and flooding, I don't take any chances. We are not brain scientists, right? We are not brain surgeons. We can do things from home. And so if I get the slightest bit inkling that it's going to do more than sprinkle, it's going to flood, right? And so I would rather everybody stay home. If we think something's coming, I'll be like, everybody be sure and take your laptops home. We'll make a judgment call at 6 a.m. So also, if a lot of us are elsewhere, right? Because a lot of us, for example, are not there today because I'm sitting here with you, right? And some of them are going to be here. Then those that are left, y'all work from home. There's no reason. But some like to go and have the place to themselves, right? Or just have a couple of people. So it really just depends. But generally, greatness happens when we're together. It's nice for the creatives to be able to say, hey, can you come look at this? And I'll just stand behind him and go, can you move that? And instead of back and forth and Slack.
Here's 7,000 emails.
Right. As opposed to
with everybody and God CC'd on
Yes. And let's think about the financial side of that, right? How many people are reading the Slacks and all of that has nothing to do with them because they're on the channel. Right. And so instead, I can just get up, stand behind them, him, her, whoever, and just chat it out. And then we're done. It's ready for the client. So I'm edging that way, but it seems so are they, right? So are they. They enjoy their time at home, but also I also see that they enjoy their time that we're together and we're able to get a lot of stuff done because we're all there, or most of us are there.
Well, and that's again going to that conversation that we had right before this and so I run an agency that is completely virtual.
Okay.
Right. Wow. We're 100% virtual. We've been virtual now for 4 years, right? Because
international and virtual.
Internationally, like we're all over the globe, right? But I do see the benefit of in person on productivity side of things, but also just even on the culture side of things.
Absolutely.
Because it's really hard to preserve that culture of your company virtually.
Right. Yes. I don't understand how you could do it. Yeah. I really don't.
It's hard.
Yes.
Very hard.
Because it was hard during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So yeah, hats off to you on that, time zones and all of that. That must be just crazy. But I guess if everybody's used to it, I guess it works.
Well, and so we're also attracting people that are coming in that want to be remote.
Right.
And understand the challenges with that. So real quick question. How many employees do you have?
17.
17. Okay.
We are small but mighty. 17, which completely makes my heart stop.
Yeah.
Because that's 17 families.
Yes.
17 mortgages. 17. I don't know how many kids. I'm not going to add up how many kids that is. I can't add up how many kids that is. So 17. Yes. And 2024 is shaping up to be really nuts. We were one of the agencies chosen for the massive $11.1 billion I-45 deal on TxDOT Houston. And so that could be crazy. TxDOT Austin also. And then, so it's just looking, and the Cap Metro could be pretty great. So it's just looking like 2024 is going to be pretty spectacular, and 2025 is going to be even crazier. So it's great. It's just, again, I probably should be bigger than 17. I'm still using freelancers over here when needed. But it goes back to, especially with government, right? Because just because you have it doesn't really mean anything yet.
Yeah.
It can be Cap Metro. I could be in legal for 2 or 3 months before I even, and then I still don't have an SOW, right? And then we haven't worked it out. And then you haven't even done anything yet. And then you can't invoice for it until it's produced. And then you can finally invoice, and then you hope for that 30-day thing. Even though I have all these irons in the fire, I still have to be real careful on what I do, because I still have to wait for things to really take off, which can take sometimes 6-9 months, even a year.
As you're leading that and as you're juggling everything, is there anything that you look back to your time on campus, your time at A&M, that has really prepared you for entrepreneurship, that has helped you with that?
I was one of the kids that I didn't come from money. I didn't have it, so I worked my way through college. And so I'm going to date myself. So I worked at the faculty club. That was my first job on campus. And I was a server there when that was a restaurant. And then I was part of the initial crew that opened that Chili's. That was a big thing. The Chili's was the first corporate restaurant to come to town, right? Nobody believed that they would thrive here.
Which is why it's right across the street from
Absolutely.
Kevin's. It's like that real estate is so prime now. It's like, why the hell is Chili's there?
Yes, because Chili's was still really big then. And I remember the vice president of Brinker at the time was an Aggie, and apparently went into this. I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, but they were telling us when we were hired, it went into I think his name's Norman, Mr. Brinker, let's call him that, and said, if you build it and it doesn't make you money, I will buy it.
Wow.
And so it was him that brought it here. And of course it blew every record. And if you notice I think they've added on to it, was one of the tiniest ones because they so deeply did not believe it was going to do well. And so, and it did really well, which is great for me because I needed the money. Right. And so I worked there, and I worked there all the way until my last summer. I graduated in December, and I studied abroad in Spain. And then came back and worked a semester at Fox and Hound, opened Fox and Hound. I'm telling you, I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
I opened Fox and Hound and then graduated. So to answer your question, I was sort of doing it on my own. I was doing it anyway, right? And I didn't think of it that way. I'm going to tell you, I didn't grow up being said, and nothing about entrepreneurship was ever spoken to me when I was growing up, or even in college. That was never spoken. You got a job, you stayed with the company, you might move once or twice, that's all you do, but you get a job, you stay there.
Put in your 401k.
Yes. I mean, that never, and that's why when Don Eastfeld said to me, if this works out, we're going to form a marketing company, I was like, whatever you say. And because it was not on my radar.
Yeah.
And funny, you talk to, I'm sure y'all, especially as many as y'all talk to as entrepreneurs, of how they had a plan and they knew exactly what they were doing. I knew nothing about what I was doing. And if you would make a checklist of all the things not to do, I've done them all at least once. Some of them I've probably done twice.
I'm a repeat offender.
Sometimes I'm a slow learner. Here I am 17 plus years later, right? And was it the school of hard knocks and all of that? It absolutely is. But it's been a journey. Do I wish I had figured it out sooner? I absolutely do. But if you look back on it, I don't know how I would have, like that recession having me go back and get that job, and then being able to be in an agency to watch what she was doing, learn how to chase government, see what certifications can do for you if you do them right. All of those things, I don't know how I would have gotten there otherwise. Maybe eventually, but I don't know. So, by the way, I forgot to mention, I do have one contract with A&M. Nope, that's a lie. 2 with A&M and 2 with TU. They have they're back to that, they're a vendor pool, so you have to wait for an SOW. So they haven't panned out yet, but I'm absolutely also in higher ed, and this is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about that, Ags? Was that pretty awesome or what? I know that it was really cool meeting Marche right before the Aggie 100 and then getting to celebrate with her during the Aggie 100 celebration, and I have a ton of notes here. And I know with this episode, we're going to do what we did with our last couple of episodes and wait until the very end, because we are splitting these up. But I had fun talking with Marche.
Yeah, I had so much. I think my sides hurt from laughing so much. She has so much fun. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as we had recording it. Make sure that you connect with Marche if you haven't connected with her, and connect with Chris or I. Connect with Aggie Growth Hacks. If you're listening to Aggie Growth Hacks and you're not subscribed on your podcast app, please hit subscribe now. Give us a big gig'em thumbs up and write a review so that we can get this episode and this podcast out to more Aggie entrepreneurs. And finally, connect with us. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to know you. We'd love to share your story on our future episode of Aggie Growth Hacks.
We want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship at Texas A&M University. Since 1999, the McFerrin Center for Entrepreneurship has served as the hub of entrepreneurship at Texas A&M. If you're an Aggie entrepreneur or even a entrepreneur, head on over to their website to find a program that's right for you. Just go to aggiegrowthhacks.com/McFerrin right now. Join us next time when we connect with Marche again and learn how she hacked her growth. Until then, I'm Chris Hunter.
And I'm Greg Martin. Thanks and gig 'em.